Hi Kyla, thank you so much for joining me on today's podcast. I'm really excited about this conversation. It feels like perfect timing because I'm in the process of up-leveling my brand, The Elevated Life. So today I wanted to get personal and talk about the work we've done together over the last few years, what survival mode looked like for me, and how therapy helped me to start dreaming again and even bigger. You have always held space for me that feels deeply safe but also challenges me in the best possible way. I wanted to bring you onto the podcast today to have kind of conversation that we have behind the scenes. What I love about our sessions compared to ones I've had in the past is that I've always felt that you've understood me in a way that no other therapist has. That might be because we both have ADHD and you just get me, but what I suspect it is that you care about your patients, and that really shines through. So welcome, and thank you so much for being here today.
My pleasure, thank you for having me.
Before we start, I'm not sure I've ever asked you this, but what made you go into therapy?
So, that is a very good question. When I worked in this building, actually, I did my level 2 first just for something to do. Not the best reason to do, of course, but did. And we had to learn about ourselves, and I thought, this is something I could get on board with. And then I did my level 3 as well, and through my level 3 I got pregnant, and I had my daughter minutes after I finished, it felt like, and I thought, now's the time. So applied for uni, got in, and the rest is history.
Amazing. Yeah. So I speak to a lot of people about therapy. I feel like a lot of my friends are more than happy to go through it. The conversation has shifted, I think, in the last 10 years or so. How would you explain therapy? What is it, or what?
It isn't advice. Therapy for me is a listening space, but I think I do it a little bit differently because for me it's about the relationship. So when you say I care about my clients, I absolutely do. I break some rules, you're not meant to ask questions, that kind of thing. Whereas I think, how do you get to know someone without asking questions? Therapy is about finding the answers for yourself, but it always feels like I give a little bit of guidance. I'm not scared to say, this is how I've understood it, is that correct? And I'm okay to be wrong on it, but I think that the relational depth is the most important thing within therapy.
Everyone's different, aren't they? Everyone that you work with, there's no one set way that you work with everyone.
No, absolutely not.
And I remember that's what drew me to working with you in the first place. Is I know I went to people that they were writing notes sort of in the session, and it felt very scripted, like they're asking their clients the same question, and I felt it was very different with you. I really did feel like you gave a shit.
Yeah, 100%. Don't keep notes because ADHD. It's just like, but it's all different. I don't think I've ever had one session the same as another. I'm shit with computers, so I draw stuff on a whiteboard, and it's always different. It's just really exciting. I use the same kind of tools with a lot of my clients because I wholeheartedly believe in them, but the relationship has to be there first. It isn't just this is going to work for you, because that's not how I believe that things happen. It's got to be personal to each individual client, otherwise it is just a doing, and I don't do. I feel it's a journey with each client.
100%. I love that. I had one session with you at the beginning. I don't know if you disappeared from
the jar.
So I felt like there was really big vulnerable work to be done, and I was right. 6 years into doing this work, I feel like a completely different person. But do you remember what it was like when I first started working with you right from the beginning?
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It was more like, how can I work smarter? How can I work harder? How can I sort my head out so that I can make millions? It wasn't ever about you, it was the business.
Yes.
And I think that's why the jar exercise came up. And it was the first time I'd brought a task into therapy, and then you disappeared, and I was like, okay, maybe that isn't the right thing. But yeah, it was about understanding what fills your life, the jar, and I wholeheartedly believe it would have helped. But yeah, I was just like, she's gone.
Do you know what? And I disappeared for like months, even like 6 months. I don't know how long it was, but I remember going, oh my God, there's actual real work to be done. And I I felt like you weren't just going to go, well, this is X, Y, and Z, and then you'll be a millionaire. I was like, oh my God, there's real hard work to be done. And it scared the life out of me. I did come back.
You did?
And we never did the jar, actually.
No, never.
But it's a phenomenal, I'd love to do this. The jar being, if I can remember correctly, was there sort of like rocks that you would identify your priority as? Mm-hmm. Then you'd have your almost secondary priorities as smaller rocks or something like that?
Yeah, it was all about filling this jar of life. So the big rocks are the things that were unmovable. The small rocks are fun. The little rocks, which is actually sand, is the self-care part of it, which nobody really understands, that's actually the biggest bit of work that needs doing, is creating a life you don't want to escape from.
Creating a life you don't want to escape from.
And that's how I view self-care, rather than going for a shower or
lighting a candle.
The real stuff that you actually need. How do I create this life that I can stay in?
So a question I have here is, what misconceptions do you think people have about therapy?
Yeah, I think people are scared, which is why I always caveat it with, it gets harder before it gets easier. It's a journey. 1 hour a week is not going to be enough. That's not going to, and I quote, fix you. I don't think you're broken. And that's where we have to start, is you're not broken. Life's happened, and we need to kind of put you back together and find out how the next phase of life's going to look. But yeah, I think people are scared.
Oh, absolutely.
Understandable.
And speaking for myself, I definitely was at the beginning. Something we talk a lot about, and I know we're both a fan of this, is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's been such a useful tool for me. Can you give a quick overview of Maslow's hierarchy of needs for our audience?
Yeah. So it's a pyramid, and what it says is, we think that when we're happy, then we can start doing other stuff. But actually what you have to do is start fulfilling life from the bottom up. And it is starting with the basics. So start with your physiological needs. If you're not eating properly, sleeping properly, getting enough exercise, you're not going to be your best self to start moving forward. So when people have low self-esteem, I want to fix that. Well, let's go back to the beginning. I look at Maslow as a bit of permission to start again. Let's look at your physiological needs. Let's understand what they are, because they're different for everyone. There is the basics, but you also need to add other fundamental elements that are important to your life. And then there's the safety needs. What does safety look like to you? It's all different for everyone. We then move on to love and belonging, and that part is connections, friendships, family, work colleagues. It's all about connections. But when you think about whether you're introverted or extroverted, your belonging needs are going to be different. I love my people, and my cup is filled up with my people. But if I'm in a big social situation, it's drained very, very quickly. And being an introvert, I need to recover on my own. And so my belonging needs look different to other people's. Yeah. Then we've got esteem needs, and that is the real exciting work that you have in therapy, because it talks about you. Like, what do you need? What's important to you? Your self-worth, your self-esteem. Working out the difference between self-worth and self-esteem is such interesting work. And then there's self-actualization, which I call happiness, I call fulfillment.
Oh, I like that. I prefer that. Yeah.
Happiness. But what nobody warns you is that you go back to the beginning. Once this one little thing can fall apart, and you have to go back to the beginning, and you work up quicker. But that's the point of it, is you move up and down the pyramid. It isn't a fixed, if I do all of this.
And I feel like this is what people miss, as you said, is that you think you go up there almost like a ladder, and when you're at the top, you're like, I made it, I'm here. But then you don't. And I always think, like, in winter, I struggle with depression. SAD, I think it's called.
Seasonal affective disorder.
Exactly. And when I'm there, I could be feeling great, sort of, let's say, November, but it's January that I feel like I'm all the way back to my how do you say this, right?
Physiological. Right back down there.
And that is everything from, have you drunk enough water? Have you got food? Have you got shelter? Have you got clothing? Have you got sleep? And, it's got reproduction there as well, because that's it. When you're trying to get pregnant and you can't, you go right down to the bottom of the pyramid again, 100%. Don't you? But with sleep, as we both know, is I have insomnia, so I could be feeling absolutely wonderful, everything going well, and when I struggle with a bout of insomnia, I'm right down there at the bottom. And I used to carry on trying to do everything as normal, but the work that we've done together, I'm like, right, let's start from the bottom.
And that's what people don't understand, is it's the work at the bottom that allows you to self-actualize, gain happiness. But when we look at the bottom, and your insomnia, for instance, the sleep has to be the focus. Yes, you need food, you need water, you need everything, but because the sleep is such a deficit, it's working out what you need in this moment. It's not a fixed, no, I need 8 hours sleep, that's all I'm going to get. And I think that's the other thing people don't understand, is it's in the moment. In the winter, I need. In the summer, I need.
Yes.
And it's finding out those kinds of nuances of your life that is so important.
Yes. You know, going right down to the bottom, let's talk about survival mode a little bit more. It's something I talk about a lot. So what does that actually mean? We spoke a bit about it, but that could almost, if you've got a cold, you're right back down there again because you're not feeling well.
Yeah.
Your needs are straight to bed.
But we don't. As a society, we're told to push through all that kind of awful things. We're not ever taught to look after ourselves.
It's true.
It's like, actually, if I don't get this sleep, that's selfish or lazy. There's so many negative connotations to looking after ourselves.
Especially with women.
Yeah. So yes, it could be something as simple as a cold. But what a cold does is you have to think about what it's saying to you. So you've got a cold, so you can't work. Well, if you're a workaholic, not being able to work is really important. If you're a mum and you just can't be bothered with your children today because you feel exhausted, it damages our sense of self. And that's what people don't understand. They're not repairing from a cold. They're repairing because it's their sense of self that's a bit damaged.
Oh, so interesting. I mean, my next question to you is, why do you think so many people are stuck in survival mode? Do you think it's partly due to the conditioning that, as you just mentioned, we've got to man up, we've got to push through it?
100%. Society conditions us. Anxiety comes from your real self versus the other. Now, if your other is always, you should man up, you should do this, women have to do this, you have to work like you haven't got children and parent like you don't work, and there's so many shoulds that actually... There's your conditioning, it's your lack of the ability to make one's own choices because of the shoulds that we live by.
Do you think the story has changed at all, let's say in the past few years? Because there has been more of a... I mean, I feel like a lot of stories have got into this, and I love how you explain it as wanky wellness. It's wonderful having a candle, but actually if you need sleep, the candle's not going to do anything for you.
Yeah, 100%. There is more of a focus on self-care and wellness, but not necessarily the permission to do it how you need it. And there's the difference, is it's that permission isn't given because we've prescribed it as a candle.
And that's how the work has been so brilliant with working with you, is we've worked out exactly what my needs are rather than what we're told to do, which is actually another thing on the to-do list, isn't it? Like, go and have a bath, go and buy that candle, go and, do the workshop that teaches you how to whatever, and that might not be your prescribed way of
even similar things like exercise. I don't want to do a high rocks, but I do quite like yoga, I do quite like Pilates, so it's like, we should be doing cardio. I don't want to do cardio, I'm quite happy doing strength training.
Exactly.
And it's that kind of thing. There's fads everywhere and we buy into them.
100%. So when we first started working together, I was most definitely in survival mode. What do you think that looked like for me back then?
Because you were living by shoulds, and they weren't even verbalised shoulds. They were... Some of them were verbalised, but most of them were internal. Your granddad being as successful as he was, well, that's what success looks like, not the journey to it or anything. And I think that was crippling almost.
How do I get there
right now? I can't wait to there. I need success looks like right now. I need to be doing this. And I think that you forgot you in that.
100%. I almost had to go back and relearn what success looked like for me, because I was following his journey and success looked one single way. And actually, I feel like success now is very different. And what do you think were some of the patterns that we uncovered that kept me stuck?
Oh gosh, that's a really good question. The biggest pattern for me was what others thought of you. How you were viewed by others felt really, really important because you didn't allow space for yourself. It was like success looks like this, or failure looks like this. And I think by not allowing yourself to show up in your life, it was a life for others, and there were fractious relationships because you were quite a people pleaser in a way that was shocking because you were so determined, so driven, yet the need to be this version that other people accepted when it was always different. Like different people wanted different things from you, and how you had to show up in friendships was different in relationships, or a family relationships different in romantic relationships, and that kind of thing. So I think, yeah, for me, you were missing.
Oh God, 100%. Back then I just remember thinking the more that I did for other people, the more that I would be loved. And actually, occasionally this does come up for me and I have to go, hang on, I've done this work. Let me be more aware. They will love me. The right people will love me exactly as I am. And I was running left, right and centre trying to show up and be the person I thought everyone wanted me to be. And I was exhausted and I was on the floor. Like, trigger warning for those with suicidal thoughts here. I was knocking on that door often. What do you think were some of the first shifts you noticed in me?
I think for me, the first time I noticed a difference was when you allowed yourself not to be Mamadou. Because he's good at pretty much everything. Like,
Mamadou being my partner, by the way.
Yeah, he's good at pretty much everything, like admin-y and
that society expects you to be
good at.
Yes.
Exactly that. So when you allowed him to do his stuff that he needed to do, that he brought, you then started to see what you bring. And for me that was exciting because then it was an equal partnership. He did his stuff, did it well. You did your stuff and you started to realise that you did it well. Exploring relationships with family allowed you to find your space in that.
Yes, and give up some relationships that
didn't serve, that feels fickle, that actually harmed you.
Yes.
Because you weren't able to show up as you in a version of. I think love languages were really important. Actually understanding love languages and what you need out of... When I say relationships, I mean all relationships, not romantic relationships, but understanding what you need out of relationships and then what they need was also really good. And then you realise, actually, I can't meet their need.
Yes.
They can't meet my need. Neither of us is in the wrong.
Oh, the work we did around love languages, I love. Now it's like almost an obsession to know what everyone's love language is, because as soon as I meet a friend with the same love language, I'm like, oh, yay, that's so exciting. So for those who don't know about it, there are 5, aren't there? There is acts of service.
Yeah.
There is physical touch. Now there is quality time.
Yeah.
There's gifts. And I always miss one last one. Words of affirmation. And my top ones are physical touch from a partner and quality time. Yeah. What are yours?
So mine are the same, physical touch and quality time. My children's, 2 out of the 4, is acts of service.
Oh no!
And I hate it.
So we've spoken about this before, but Mamadou's is acts of service. And when yours isn't acts of service, that one's a really hard one, isn't it? Because all you want to do is like cuddle and spend time together. You don't want to be cleaning the kitchen or like bringing them cups of tea.
Hate it. Whereas one of my children is physical touch like me, which is really nice. And then my son, who's autistic, his is gifts. So while I hate acts of service, I can do gifts, but I don't like the receiving of gifts. I don't even score 1% on it. So I used to think, you're so selfish. You want to take from me all the time. And now I just realise it's his bid for love.
Yes.
And having the permission to love my children differently is so freeing because I can love them in the way that they need. And that's a complete break in the societal norms because you should treat them the same and blah, blah, blah. Well, fairness in my family looks like loving you the way you need to be loved.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that so much. But it's so funny since learning about this, and I don't say anything because, you know, it's none of my business, but you can see frictions with couples, can't you? You can almost say, oh, it's because your acts of service and your quality time, and it's like, you know, if I know them well, I might say, guys, have you heard about these?
Yeah, my friends expect me to tell them all sorts because I don't hold back. Because one thing about, I think why I enjoy therapy so much is I've settled into, I bring myself.
Yeah.
And so my friends get the same version as my clients get. They get me.
Yeah.
Which is really freeing. But yeah, so no, I just tell them, I'm like, love languages, you guys seriously need to talk about that. I talk about it everywhere. I think the Gottman method is amazing.
Oh, it's so brilliant. Oh, God, I could do a whole podcast on love languages alone. It's so interesting. Back to this again. Were there any patterns or behaviours that I kept repeating that were rooted in maybe unmet needs or survival mode?
Yeah, people pleasing, 100%.
Yeah. Even today, I'm a lot less people pleasery, if that's and now it's just noticing, isn't it? It's, as soon as you're aware, you can go, that's an old pattern. I've moved on from that. But it is easy to go back into that again.
Yeah, and to not notice how you do it. Even when you make an appointment with someone, it's even the tiny bit of what works for you. Not, these are my dates.
Yes.
Can you do any of them? If not, let's look again. Or what time would work for you?
100%. And now something I do is I don't have any appointments ever in the morning. And that's a really big met need for me. Yeah. Is actually all of my podcasts have been 2 o'clock onwards. And I won't do anything earlier because I don't want to.
No, because you've learned who you are, you learn what you need, and you don't want it.
Exactly. It's, oh my goodness. So a moment that was a huge turning point for me and a big like aha moment was that I could be happy now. Before it felt like it was really out of reach.
Getting there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I was always saying I'll be happy when I'm successful. And by making that small but significant shift was life-changing. I started focusing on my happiness now, right now, not when I'm successful, and actually in turn the success grew because I was happy.
Yeah. You also changed what you saw as success.
Yes.
Success started to be about the now, actually living in the present moment, but mindfulness in a way. Actually, I'm going to be in here. How do I make here happy? That doesn't mean I'm not going to be driven to get what I think success would look like.
Yes.
But actually, it's the journey to it. It's now.
It was about the feeling right now. And most of what I do is about helping people feel the thing now. Because people get the car or the house or the job or whatever and think they'll have that feeling then, and they might get it, but it's very temporary, isn't it? But it's sort of going, well, how do you get that in the moment now?
One of my clients thinks she's fundamentally unhappy. So rather than looking for this euphoria, utopia, whatever you want to call it, she recognises every moment. I've woken up today, there's 5 seconds of happiness there. Or my banana is the perfect yellowness, greenness, however you want to have it. It's 10 seconds of happiness there. And actually picking the happiness in every moment rather than waiting for this big spike of
and you can choose
happiness.
that, can't you?
Yeah. And that's a real shift for her. She still thinks she's fundamentally unhappy, but she's noticing.
I mean, something that I love, and I probably will mention this a few times, we've got something called the reticular activating system in the brain. It's almost like our internal focus. So if we do say I'm unhappy, we will spot things that make us unhappy. But as you said, if you switch that perspective and you go, well, you know, I'm just focusing on how nice the banana tastes or how nice my cup of tea is, that's actually getting our reticular activating system to focus on what we're telling it to. Yeah. So if you're focusing on being unhappy, you're going to see more of being unhappy. But it's almost like, let's say you're pregnant and you see pregnant women all over the place. It's just that because that's your focus now, you're seeing more of it. And I find that fascinating.
It is. And then homeostasis is where normal, where we try and get to with our ventricular activating system, hard words to say. And yeah, it's fascinating, but all of the internal work in our body is amazing. I'd like to know more about polyvagal theory, for instance.
Yes.
I don't know enough about it, but I'd love to. And the little bit I do know about it is happiness, like fun, that is activated. Polyvagal nerve is activated through fun.
Let's find our version of fun. I want to move on to dream mode. So let's say we've got our basic needs sorted, safety needs, love and belonging, esteem. Let's say we've done some work on them and we're pretty happy with where we are. And let's say self-actualization is dream mode. So dream mode for me is, well, essentially it's a space to dream. It's having the capacity to imagine more for life. It's thinking big. It's feeling, what's next for me? And it's to soak in what feels possible and to think expansively. To feel abundant, to grow my vision. That's what dream mode is for me. And it's only possible to reach that state when I'm no longer in survival, as we've spoken about. It's when the basic needs are met and nervous system is somewhat regulated. And there is the space to ask the bigger questions. So how do I want to feel? What do I actually choose for my life? How do I want it to look? What lights me up? What feels expansive? And if I updated and elevated my life, what would that look like for me? I cannot do that in any form of survival mode. No. As we know, we can't. It's not possible, is it, to dream when you're in survival mode?
No, because your amygdala is activated.
Yeah.
And your amygdala is fight, flight, or freeze. I always thought it was yellow, but apparently it's not, which I'm really disappointed by. Like, we need to evolve somehow and it be yellow, because I thought
we can imagine that.
Exactly. And so when you are in survival mode, fight, flight, flop, or freeze, there isn't space to dream.
Yes.
Because you're in danger.
Yeah.
The danger doesn't necessarily need to be real. It's the perceived danger that is the problem. And so, you can't do anything. When your amygdala is activated, it has sensed danger. Therefore, you've shut down, you're in survival mode, and it's getting out of that allows you to then start dreaming.
Why do you think we self-sabotage when things are going well?
Because it's scary, and because, again, I'm going to go back to society, we're expected to then do better. We can't ever be in the moment. When things are going well, what's next?
It's a capitalist society, it's do more, do more, do more.
Whereas actually, if we use the word and I'm doing well and I want to dream.
I love that word.
But it's tattooed on my wrist. It's my favourite word. It's on my daughter's wall. It's the most important word in the English language because it allows us to settle into what we've got. We can be in the moment and know that there's something else.
I've got goosebumps now. I love the word and. Do you also think it's because those beliefs that we have, we can only get so far, and then, for example, your client who says, I'm fundamentally unhappy, she'll take herself back down to a point in her life where she's unhappy again, because why would she excel, or why would she be happy if she's been telling herself she can't?
And it feels comfortable.
Yeah.
We're used to being where we are, so the level of success, it probably feels comfortable. There's risk by stepping out of our box. There's risk by wanting more. So actually, you self-sabotage and just stay in your box. You stay in your comfort zone.
And the body does a great job of keeping us there, doesn't
100%.
it? Why is it sometimes scary to leave survival mode behind?
Because it's comfortable, because we know, like here, we're not failing. We're not happy or whatever it looks like, but we're not failing. Whereas actually, if you're on this journey for better or whatever you want to call it, there is the potential to fail. And we say things like, just do your best, it's fine. And yet we celebrate success. We don't celebrate doing your best, it's fine.
It's true, and it's so conflicting, isn't it? And I get to a point of being like, do you know what? I feel good. And the first people ask me, so what are you achieving at the moment? And it's the same even if you have a child. They go, when's the next one? It's like, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
You get married, when are you having a kid? You get one, when are you having another one? Oh, when's the next podcast episode? The next. Yeah. We're always focused on the next thing.
On the next, yeah.
What do you think are some signs that someone is beginning to move from survival mode to dreaming mode?
I think it's the potential to expand. So when you're in survival mode, you literally can't. Everything feels hard, and then you get glimmers of, when you're in dream mode, you get glimmers of the person, glimmers of wanting to be different, of believing that you can be, even if you don't know how to that's why you're dreaming. You're wanting something different.
I almost just describe it, and I realise this might be a weird analogy, but it's almost like when you need the loo, all you can think about is needing the loo. You can't think about, what the next step is, or what colour you're going to paint your room, or anything. Yeah. You're so desperate for the loo that until you go to the loo, you can't think about anything else. And I feel like survival mode is needing the loo. And then when you've gone to the loo and when you feel like you're coming out of survival mode, that's when you can start thinking about other things. Yeah. What a funny analogy.
But very true.
How do you think we sustain being in dream mode or happiness, or do you think we cannot?
I don't think you can sustain it because life happens. Yeah. If you look at love and belonging, because we're a society that has people, we're not in control of those people. It's all very well and good to say you control your controllables. Yeah. But the fact that we love people, the fact that we interact with people, the fact that we have to have businesses,
that people pass away, that we grieve,
that has an impact.
Yeah.
And if we're going to look at Maslow and say that love and belonging is important, then we've got to understand that actually loving people hurts sometimes.
I don't think we were ever meant to be on all the time. If we look at animals and we look at winter, they hibernate. And I always hate when you come into January and everyone's going, new year, new you, and let's set those goals. You know what? That's the last thing I want to do in January. I come out of myself probably in May when things start springing a little bit. Yeah. When we go into spring. And I actually feel like, oh my goodness, who am I? Like, I'm this successful person. Why can't I do this? And it's like...
because it's hard.
And this is the time, I think, where you rest more, you look after yourself. But society says you've got that 9 till 5, or you've got that job or that business. It has to keep going. Yeah. And I don't think as humans we were meant to do that.
We were meant to do that.
Where would you say I am in the hierarchy now?
I would say esteem. Because I think you've not ticked off the rest, because that's not how it works. But I would say it's esteem because you're working on finding out what works for you. How you said, I don't do podcasts until after 2:00, and it's accepting that. Yeah. It's really looking at yourself as a woman in business, as part of your relationship. It's looking at you as a whole. It's about you learning to put boundaries in, understanding that boundaries are really difficult when they're pushed, and how do you tweak the boundary so that it works for you even when it's pushed back. So no, I'd say in the esteem part, I think you have moments of actualization, obviously you do, but I think this is your esteem era.
Thank you. Well, I definitely feel the most I've ever felt in my entire life. And I don't know how to elaborate that any further, but I just feel good in my body. I feel like my nervous system is really calm. Even when, family members might try and wind me up, I'm like, do you know what? It doesn't affect me and it doesn't hit me in the same way anymore, which is where I feel like the growth has really come. Before, it would have ruined my day.
Yeah, you give it back to them. That's your shit, not mine. Actually have it back.
And before, I would have worked myself to the bone because success was more important than how I felt. And actually how I feel is everything. I took 4 months off at the beginning of the year because I didn't want to do business or anything in winter. A bit of travelling, I want to get some sunshine in Spain and whatnot. Something we haven't touched on, and I don't think we'll touch on loads during this, is we both have ADHD. You've got autism, I possibly have as well. But being neurodiverse, naturally we don't fit into a world that's been created. So it's very easy to go all back down to one of the lower levels. And then, do you find this? But we can have control over our own space. Yeah. And the various tools. The needs of the world don't always
support us. Yeah. So I haven't actually got autism, just
ADHD,
but it's fine. Actually, I found out I had ADHD because someone told me. I did get a test. I didn't just find it out because someone told me I did. But when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I had the conversation with you. There was a mutual person we both knew that said, I think you might have ADHD. And I came to you and I said, cheeky cow. And you said, oh, I assumed you did. And I was like,
it's funny because you just said when I got diagnosed before you. You were like, oh, I feel that too. But you didn't say it at the time, obviously.
It was like bells were just going off left, right and centre. But I don't think I'd be able to have ADHD and corporate world. I think I've created a life where it works really well for me because I give myself allowances. Like I still have a Filofax, I still have a paper diary, for goodness sake, because I can't be thinking about technology.
I love pen to paper.
And I'm okay with that. I don't want to have to do technology.
And you run your own business. You can get to do it how you want to do it.
Exactly. So I think society might not be built for us still. Yeah. But I'm building my own society as have you.
Yeah. Amazing. So, I remember, I'll tell you this, Kyla, and I'm sure I've told you this before, but I remember learning about Maslow at school. I did psychology in AS in A-level. Oh my God, I loved it. It fascinated me so much. And I remember coming back in my school uniform, and my granddad was back from Spain, and I excitedly ran up to him. I was like, Granddad, I've learned about Maslow's hierarchy of need. I didn't explain it at all. I said, where are you on the pyramid? Where are you on the pyramid? Because I just assumed that everyone knows about this stuff. I just thought, oh, I'm just learning about it. Everyone knows about this. And because he was the most successful person I knew, I automatically was like, well, he's right at the top. Of course he is. He's successful. He had no idea what I was talking about. But I think when I first started coming to you, I was thinking self-actualization is success in terms of the house, the car, the swimming pool, the holiday home, the homes. And it's not the case, is it?
That could be important for them.
It's not the only version.
But that's the thing, is actually, what does success look like for you? And that's what self-actualization is.
Yes.
Is it's defining what it looks like for you. My brother is super successful financially, way more than I am. Yet I take my life over his every single day of the week. But that doesn't mean that his is wrong. It's just not right for me.
Yes.
That's the key, is they say realising one's potential. That's self-actualisation. And that's why the esteem work comes just before it, because you have to recognise your own.
Yeah.
And we want to get to the top of the pyramid, blah, 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 but we never stay there. We always come back down.
And imagine each chapter of our lives, it's different. It's not like we, quote unquote, do the work and then that's it.
But you've brought up babies. If you were trying for a baby, it wouldn't matter that you had the biggest house on the street and the most money in the bank. If you didn't have the baby that with your full potential, it doesn't matter.
Or if you didn't have the health.
Yeah. It's where you place your focus on how and when you self-actualize.
So how do you think unmet needs show up in high achievers or creatives?
Oh, that's a really good question. I don't think they do show up very often because we don't allow them to. We try and hide it, we try and mask it. We maybe don't talk about it because it feels like a failure.
This is why I wanted to have this conversation. It's a lot of women that will be listening will be high achievers, they'll be business women, and I wanted to get vulnerable. I wanted you to say almost where I've come from, because we show up, like I am dressed, I've got I've got a full face of makeup, I've done my hair, got my nails, my eyelashes, and often we show up presenting as everything's perfect and on social media. And I think this podcast is really, I want it to be eye-opening, and I want it to be a space where people can get vulnerable, or at least know that they're not alone, because we can often think we're the only ones, can't we?
100%.
And it's very isolating, it's very lonely.
I talk about it a lot because I generally show up as me. I'm the exact flip of you. I have no makeup on, my hair is straight back, my nails have been pulled off. And
most of the time I'm not.
Yeah. But I am okay with that. When I have a full face of makeup on, it's because I'm anxious.
Oh, you're hiding.
Yeah, I'm hiding, 100%. I wouldn't go on a date, for instance, without makeup on. My brother laughs and says, I gaslight people when I'm on dates because you don't ever look like that.
You catfish people?
Yeah, 100%. Catfish, that's the word I was looking for. Because I never wear makeup, because I can't be bothered. And I wanted my girls to understand that you don't have to wear makeup. So for me it was really important that the message I wanted to give my children, well, boys and girls, was that you're beautiful as you are.
I love that.
So I can't wear makeup every single day of my life if I'm beautiful as I am.
Oh, Oh, yes.
So the conditioning that I give my children is very, very, very considered.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think, I think we have it. I'm not saying we have it harder than men. I wouldn't want to be a man in today's society, actually. I'm not saying women have it harder or men have it harder. I think we all have these standards that are imposed on us.
Yeah. My next question, I think I know what you're going to say to this, because we've sort of already answered it, is can we still function stuck at lower levels in the pyramid? Can we still show up?
Absolutely. Because we don't know that we're not there yet. And so I think we have to function in society because we just do.
We need to pay bills.
Exactly that. So yes, you can function, and you can also find happiness in those moments. You can find the happiness in it.
Yes.
You can know that the work needs to be done, or that there's something you want to change, or there's a place you want to get to. But the whole pyramid is about the moment, not way back there. So yes, I believe you can.
Oh, I like that. Okay. So what do you think helped me in learning how to meet my own needs?
I think lockdown, because it took away the pressure of success, or the perceived version of success. And I think I probably blow smoke up your ass way too often, but I'm like, you guys survived COVID. You thrived in COVID, but it was a slower pace for you than you'd never afforded yourself before.
Yeah, it's interesting. For those that don't know much about my story, we're in property and we design and run Airbnbs, and we had like 15 grand worth of mortgages that we had to pay, and we couldn't. We had no money coming in. All of our Airbnbs we weren't allowed guests, so we were paying this money, and I almost blocked out everyone in my circle that wasn't adding to how we were moving forward. I was thinking about myself on a day-to-day basis, and I was going on the walks, I was doing some exercise, and I was getting the business through the hardest time it's ever been. I almost didn't want things to open up again, because I had created this little world, which maybe many of us did, where we were focusing on ourselves and not what the world demanded of us.
Yeah, 100%.
And it was hard to go back into that.
Yeah. Like, even the switch of online therapy, we still haven't gone back to face-to-face. We still do it
Kyla's
online.
only down the road from me, and I think we've only done a few
in person since pre-COVID.
So there were a few good things that came out.
Exactly.
What do you say to clients who feel stuck in survival mode?
I say to look at the stuckness, because actually that's where you are. If I try and push them, and I use that in inverted commas, out of survival mode, I'm then saying they're not good enough. And actually, what I truly believe is that you are where you are.
Yeah.
Let's work on where you are, and you will naturally come out of it. You will naturally find your way. But if you're being pushed into it, it's another should. I don't give my clients shoulds in their sessions. I let them be.
And there's no homework.
No, there is no homework. There is in couples therapy, but in the individual therapy, there's no homework, because the homework is actually, how do I want to change? What resonated for me? There could be something, a flyaway comment that I've made that I don't even realise I've made it, but it really lands for them. Yeah. So yes, when clients come in survival mode, how did you get there? How did you get to survival mode that's all you can manage?
Do you think sometimes we need to unravel to almost, let's say come out as a butterfly?
Yeah, 100%. Because actually we need to understand where we've come from to how we get here. And I say to my clients, it's like colouring in a picture. Your life is your picture. You will colour it however you want to colour it. It will be different from how I coloured it. We'll use different colours because that's our individuality.
Yes.
And so, there isn't, weirdly, because you'd think that there would be, there isn't the push to get them out of survival mode, but there's the facilitation to take them on their journey.
What's one thing you wish more people would understand about healing?
That it looks different for everyone. And that your idea of healing is going to be different to other people's. You can be sad and want something else. You don't have to choose.
So what's something you would say to someone just starting on this journey of getting out of survival mode and into dream mode? What would you say if they're like, you know what, I'm ready to not be stuck anymore?
My first thing would be, what does it look like for you? And whose version of the dream is it? If it's yours, let's facilitate it. If it's perceived or brought down from generations in your family, or if it's because your husband wants it or your wife wants it, that's not going to work. What's your dream?
And that's where the work starts almost. And that's being bold. It's that first step is going to, you know what, it's not what my family wanted. For me, it's not what my granddad wanted. I had to let that go, and that was really hard. So what does self-actualization look like in a real life example? Have you got an example of someone that you know, or someone that's gone through in therapy that you go, they reached that, may have gone down the levels, but at the time they were in self-actualization?
You tell me, you've done it. There's been plenty of times you've self-actualised. What is it that made you realise that you had?
Do you know what it's now? It's right now is I absolutely adore what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I am smiling the day before, smiling during it, I'm smiling after. You know, yes, there's stuff I don't like about it. The editing. I have a wonderful editor, but with the admin is the hard bit. But I've now got VAs, I've got editors, I've got all these people in the background that help allow me to reach that self-actualization, happiness, dream mode. Thank you for putting that back on me.
No, it's fine. That's what I do in therapy. Because actually I've witnessed it from you plenty of times. Even in friendships. When I've seen you let go of a friendship that's caused you so much pain because of longevity, or because it fits in with family, or any of those kind of stuff. And there's the in the moment self-actualization, because it's, what do I need?
Oh, do you know what? One of the best things I've learned through working with you is just the phrase, I matter.
Yeah.
And I actually brought my lipstick today, or thought I did, and brought the wrong colour, but the one I was going to wear was bright red, and I've had it inscribed, I matter. And every time I put it on, I matter, and it makes me smile, because it took me a long time to get there. I was a chronic people pleaser, and the I matter, it just brings me into the now.
Yeah. And there you go, there's self-actualization.
Oh my goodness, I love that. If the listeners could take away one thing from today's episode, what would you like it to be?
I think you've said it. I matter.
I matter, yes.
You can choose. They can be polar opposites, and they can exist in the same place. And then you explore what that looks like for you.
Oh my goodness, I have absolutely loved this so much. I feel like we could go on, and I'm hoping in the future there'll be a part 2. Kyla, I wanted to invite you on today because the work we've done has been so pivotal in my journey, and it's made all the difference to my success. A big thank you to you.
Thank you for having me.
Oh my god, it's been such a good podcast episode, hasn't it? So if any of them want to go a little bit deeper on this work, I'll leave the details of Kyla below in the show notes. And it's a bye from us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.